Hi guys, back again with me Austin from A Boy at Heart. Today I'm going to share to you my experience on Mezco's Hellboy 2 The Golden Army 3 3/4 inch scale figure. Alright, and I believe this is a 2009 con exclusive, so if I'm not mistaken an SDCC 2009. And yep, Mezco used to make something like this. So without further ado, let's take a look at the packaging first. So this is the packaging, quite big for a 1/18 scale figure, but it has to accommodate two figure set. So it has to accommodate two figures. Anyway, this is the window, the title, Mezco Con exclusive 3 3/4 inch. So okay, and that's the behind is the BPRD buddies. I'm not really sure about this. Seems interesting to me. Kinda, it reminds me of, you know, another line of Star Wars toys. But anyway, that's behind, below, sorry. I'm not an expert in Hellboy, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm pretty much a sucker of this scale, 3 3/4 inch. And every time a good figure like this came out, I just cannot pass it up. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at the figure itself. The box set actually comprised of two figures. This is the Golden Army Soldier. It's quite big, so it's probably scale up about 6-inch scale, something like that. We'll see about that. And I think it boasts quite a awesome or impressive sculpt along all across the body, considering this was 2009. So let's take a quick look at it. I think I like the fact that they painted it's all on gold kind of chrome, but on the other hand they give a lot of shadings, which is beautiful. I like where it looks as always, and it fits the theme. Okay, so that's the head. The sculpt is okay with the two red eyes, nothing much. And then we can see a lot of carvings, molded details here. This part is kind of a machinery. I'm not really sure what's the background story. I have yet to watch the movie, but anyway, this is my favorite part on the. This is kind of a shoulder guard, and the guard on the arms, kind of a shield, but it has beautiful sculpt there, so it's really cool, very intricate, good design. And of course the fingers, I wish this is articulated, which is not. It is only sculpted, but look at those shadings, those weathered looks. I like that, very nice. I believe if they can make it into a translucent red, that will be much better, but considering again 2009, not that bad. This side also similar, very nice, but here it comes with the blazing sword, something like that, blazing knife. I'm not sure what is, probably the weapon. Again, the fingers looks nice, it craves for articulation, but mold details all across the body of this figure is really nice. I think I fell in love with it. Very nice. Look at that, all molded details. Again, carvings here and there, so really nice. And down there at his feet also similar, a lot of details. Look at that, so beautiful, right? It's like on a piece of an art. So pardon my English, but oh man, this is a very cool action figure. I really want to get one more of this and can make my army soldiers, Golden Army soldiers, right? Now the articulation on this guy is not that great though. That's the weakness of it. Because it was an old figure, I tried to break all the articulation, to find the articulation and break it, you know, because it's 2009, like 9 years ago. So I was afraid to break the figure, so I tried to find clues where the joints are. And there are some people who wrote that there's probably an articulation at the head. And if I check on the figure, it's not really visible on the camera. It's probably a very huge ball joint. However, after trying to move it, even to break the joints with the hot water treatment or with the hair dryer treatment, I cannot move it. So I'm not going to force it, and it's kind of stuck here on the mold here. So I'm not sure. Please let me know in the comment about this head. It's probably there, but I just don't want to break. I don't want to, you know. It's an old figure. It's looking like this is already really great, right? With all its sculpts. So now one of the articulation, two actually here, is on the arms. You can have this arm fully rotated. So this the same here. And then here we actually have two swivels on the elbow. One is up here. So notice that this piece moves, right? It rotates 360, and below on the arms here it moves 360 as well. Notice that this piece actually not moving. Okay, it's similar on the other side as well. So 1, 2, we already find 6 points of articulation. Okay, so it's similar, swivel and swivel, double swivel. And then we have articulation down here. We have a swivel. Oh, come on. All right. So, okay, good. So we have 7 points of articulation. And then the other two are that I can find is down here. Here, you can actually rotate it 360. Similar on the other side as well. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are some people who mentioned that this is the last one that I probably is there, but I'm not going to bother with it. Let's start with the head first. I think the head is sculpted very nice, and despite being small, the paint on the eyes is okay. I think it's superb. So very well done on the head. Ooh, okay, sculpted the hairs. Right, I think I like it. And the jacket here, we have the coat. This part here is kind of stiff, probably glued or molded. Right, but some parts are still rubbery. But down here is very rubbery. Okay. Now, of course, it's a separate piece. You can kind of take it off, but I'm not going to do it. First is because there's no point in doing that, because as always, just like Marvel Universe or Star Wars figure, for this kind of coat, this part is molded on the arms anyway, so you have to put it on, otherwise the figure will look weird. And I kind of check a little bit on the body mold. There's nothing much at the back, and in fact the beautiful part is at the front. Look at that, there's still a bit of molded details on the skin. Alright, so that's pretty cool. And yep, I can feel the texture somewhat, and you can see his muscles. Oh, by the way, the belt is really nice despite being small, with all the pockets. And yep, the pockets goes to the back as well. Did I mention that the paint on the coat is very nice? You can see the wear and tear effect on it, the shadings on the coats with the buttons here as well. It's very well done. Now we also have the holster here. It's kind of rubbery, but also very solid, sturdy. We'll see about that on the accessories later on. And again on the arms as well, very nice. The detail, the glove is very weathered. You can see there. I hope it's visible. And of course, this is also the highlight. The right arm is big. This is based on the character, of course, and you can see a lot of detailings over there as well. And the palm, I think Very nice mold. Look at that. So I can feel the textures and it's very beautiful, just like a piece of art. And then down there, a bit of molded, supposed to hold the holster, but I kind of like the fact that it's not attached to it. The pants is okay, I guess. The wrinkles and shadings as well, which is something that's very normal these days, but I like extra weathering here and there. I always love that. And the shoes is also weathered in a way. Nothing much here aside from the back. And the tails is kind of rubbery, comprised of 3 articulation. I believe you can somehow take it out, but I'm not going to do it. So anyway, be careful with it, I guess. So for the articulation, the head is on a ball joint and it's very nice. Yeah, full rotation, a bit downward, upward that much only, side to side. So very normal joints. The arms there, the left is just like your normal figures, is a ball hinge joint. You can move up hindered by this, but you do have a hinge, so by adjusting the hinge you can do all those kind of motion to the back and to the top, and you actually have full rotation. But since it's hindered here, so yeah, and you have rotation on the upper bicep. You have elbow bend on the left arm, and you have rotation on the wrist as well. It's kind of stiff, so I'm not going to force it. Let me check if there's any additional hinge. I don't think there is. Now the thing is, on the right hand here, because of the mold detail, it doesn't have an elbow bend just like on the left, but you do still have the hinge on the arm. Okay, but and this is the other reason why I don't take it out, because see, this hand is so big, I don't think the hole can accommodate that, you know. It'll be troublesome to take it out and then put it in back without probably risking to break the code, so not going to do that. And so aside from the hinge, which is kind of tricky because you have to find out where the hinge is so position, so you do have similar ball hinge joint on the arms. Just make sure you find out where the hinge is, and if is where the hinge is, and adjust the position. And then you also have upper bicep, but you don't have the elbow, but you do have rotation on the wrist, which is actually a ball joint. So yep, you have ball joint motion on this wrist, the big palm. So a good punch. Actually, it's not that bad. Now we do have another joint here as well on the diaphragm. It's a ball joint, but because of the code, I cannot really show you the extent of it. But you do have side-to-side motion and full rotation, I do believe, and I think a bit up, backward, and to the front. Not much, but it's there. The tail is comprised of 3 swivels. The one on the top here, just attached to his butt. Okay, it's a full swivel, and then there's another swivel here, which look like it's gonna be detached anytime soon. So you do have that, and you do have this as well. So normally we just let it be like that. I'm not going to do anything with it. We have the ball joint legs. Yep, so it does pack quite a good spread on the leg. And let me see this, but front kick is not bad, but it's not the best. And we do have upper thigh rotation. Notice the ball joint stays. We also have single jointed knee bend here, not bad. And we do have upward downward motion, a bit hindered. Okay, it is there. And we have ankle pivot, not so much, but it is there. So it's good to have this kind of possibility with this figure. For the accessory, we have this stand, which is welcome but not really necessary. It came with the back here, nothing much at the back, and this is the BPRD logo. Not necessary because the figure can stand by itself and perfectly even. And then the other accessories that we have is the signature pistol, 4-barrel pistol, which is called the Good Samaritan or the Samaritan, if I'm not mistaken. And it fits, okay, it fits to his hand very nicely, just like this. Is the trigger wrist, by the way, trigger palm, and you can actually put his finger into the trigger hole, so that's fine, and it holds very nicely. Okay, now of course we are being given the holster here, but for some reason with the flaps even kind of rubbery, but it's very hard to put it in. Let me try. You have to kind of push it all the way down, and I'm afraid I'll break it up. So I guess you can somewhat use it, but it's not really perfect. Okay, and it will look like that. Looks silly to me. And okay, so I prefer to put it on his hand all the time. See it? It's very tight now. Okay, I finally managed to take it out. And one more thing, actually, with this pistol, if you see, I hope it's visible, you see that there's actually a hinge here. So that's kind of a peg, and a peg which connects between this hinge here. There should be a movement here, right? And then there's a noticeable gap around here. There should be a packed into a pack hole on that portion, so that we can have the kind of, you know, reloading position onto the revolver. But so there's a big but here. I've been trying to work with the my hair dryer for quite some time, even hot water, and try to mess with it a little bit. I think the dry paint, because it's an old figure, kind of stuck in there, so then probably the pack is too small. So I'm not going to force it, but just want to let you know that it is there. I've seen pictures on it that it is there. The 6-inch scale has it as well. So, and that's the hinge. Okay, so it's supposed to move like that, just like that. But too bad. Not going to force it because it's still working really fine to me. It's just that one feature is not working. But look at that, right? Still very cool. Let's scale them up. The Golden Army soldiers, is standing roughly 6.5 inches tall, around that. So quite big. And this figure stands for about roughly 4-inch scale, 4-inch tall. So it's very much in scale to, you know, any other brands of 4-inch or 3/4-inch scale figure. Let's compare him to several figures. Now, to get you an idea of how tall is the Golden Army Soldier, this is a Marvel Legends figure. Okay, so quite big. And then to compare Hellboy with several other figure line, in this scale, this is Marvel Universe Iron Man. I'll just add Star-Lord, which is bigger. I think this is the current scale standard. This is a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Still works fine, a bit short I think for the character, because I believe I have the impression that Hellboy is supposed to be a bit taller, and Chewbacca and the old Han Solo to compare with Star Wars. I think he is more in scale with Star Wars. He's kind of a true 3/4 inch scale figure. Alright, but still works very well with Marvel. I mean, you don't have much options, I think. Still works. Now overall, being a con exclusive figure, this is amazing figure for the scale, and I just want to remind you that this was released 2009. 9 years later I purchased it, I opened it, and it still works very fine. Of course there's a mystery with the articulation on the head, who knows, but other than that the figure works very fine, especially on Hellboy. Of course there are improvement that can be done. I hope if only they can do that, is the holster. At least I would like the holster to be working instead of this, which probably can be modified. And well, the articulation on the right is okay. I guess I still can do a decent punching position, so I don't mind with that. And the molds on this, the shadings, the paints, and the what do you call that, the weathering is nice. Of course I wish this can be translucent and glowing instead of this, but considering 9 years ago, I think it's okay. Alright, so thanks guys for watching. I'm Austin from Mobile Heart. Subscribe to the channel, like the video.